Welcome to Subramani. I recently met a lady who told me that she's got box files of paper belonging to her late husband and she has no clue what to do with them. And she didn't know what to keep, what to throw away, how much of income tax papers were important to be kept. Her husband had died about 3 years ago and papers were continuing to come home. So I asked her to sit with her daughter or son, or she didn't have anybody in India, and I don't think her children were too keen to help her with the mountain of paperwork. So I asked her what is her exact solution for it. She said, look, I have enough space at home. I'll keep it. And if I drop dead, after that, it doesn't really matter what papers are there and what is not there. This was a very practical and correct approach, I thought, for somebody like her to take. In case there is a problem, somebody would come and sort it out. But I don't think all of us should reach such a stage. So find out what category are you. Are you a procrastinator saying all papers are lying somewhere? One day I will hope to find time to clean it up and file it in the right places. Or the second one saying every paper that I get is important, so everything is filed, and you have 10 box files of completely irrelevant 1978 contracts and things like that, which you will never ever need, right? That. Or the third one saying I'll get rid of all the paper. I know I can retrieve everything digitally. I anyway invest only in mutual funds and in equity sorry, through a digital broker, which means, and through my bank, and so I can get everything which I want electronically, and I've checked out with my bank that they will give me last 10 years of relevant data. So this could be the third option. It depends on which category you are. You still have to do something. One, sit with your family and find out what are documents which you will not throw away during your lifetime. I don't think I will throw away my 10th standard passing certificate, 10th, 12th, CA membership, right? None of these I'm going to throw, marriage certificate. None of these I'm going to throw away during my being alive. I've thrown away some things. I passed some Hindi Rashtra Bhasha exams. Right, I think up to Pandit or COVID, one of those levels, 4th or 5th level I passed. I have not passed the 6th one. So all those certificates are thrown away somewhere. I don't think I'm going to need it. I'm not going to search for it. One day it was just thrown away. So sometimes some things like that get thrown away, but largely you tend to keep some of these important documents. Do you need to keep your contracts? Answer is no, you can digitally retrieve them. Not that it matters, because when you, suppose you acquired shares in 2014, then January 2018 grandfathering has happened, so that will get substituted. You don't need that document, not much. For income tax purposes, you could need data up to 7 years, but more like 4 years, because beyond 4 years, if your ITO has to ask for details, he has to believe you have not paid tax worth more than 1 lakh. And once you're a senior citizen and all, I doubt whether they are going to go that deep back to fish for information. So decide what category you are in and what documents you need to keep physically. So some of these certificates you will keep physically because you don't know whether you will ever need it, but you will not throw it away emotionally. Will my daughter throw away my CA certificate? I am sure when she changes house, if she finds that this is lying there 5 years after my death, she knows it's irrelevant, she'll throw it away. But right now, I don't think I will feel like throwing it away. Having done all this, secure the system digitally. Find out from your mutual fund what data is available. Find out from your bank. My bank tells me that 10 years data will be available, which is enough to file my IT, even if I have to answer a query of scrutiny or things like that, I should be able to get it. Mutual funds will be able to do your cost basis, because they have all the relevant information. In fact, capital gains to be calculated, it's much easier to ask them to calculate than you calculating yourself, because especially if you have done SIP and things like that. So find out, once everything is available to you digitally, put it away, maybe in a pen drive, maybe somewhere locked well. Email it to yourself. I think that's a fantastic way of keeping it. Email it to your spouse or your children, and all your all these documents, all these scanned birth certificates, and all your death related stuff, like making your will and what investments where, etc. Right, all that you can save it digitally. You can also, in case you want, have a physical copy stored in a friend's house, or in a fireproof locker at home, or in a bank locker, anywhere where everybody knows that it is there, right? So that is one thing which you can do. Then make sure that you created a master directory of all the documents that you have and where it is. I have this marriage certificate dated this date, and it is kept in locker in Indian Overseas Bank or Indian Bank or something like that. Have that clarity, have that master document, keep a digital copy of the master document, leave one with your spouse, leave one with your sibling, in case they're very relevant and they have a lot of legal implications, maybe one with a lawyer friend, preferably a firm where 2-3 partners can access it, because you don't know who will predecease, right? So do that. Check out with your data providers, I mean your bank and all. Maybe I'm repeating this, but you have to make sure that it is going to be available for 10 years, for a long period of time. At any point in time it should be available for 10 years. Suddenly if they make it 5 years, believe me, the banker will not tell you that they made it 5 years, and God forbid, but if you have an income tax query running into the past, then you cannot say I don't have data. The government has nothing to do. They have to just ask you for the data. It is for you to provide. And I've had terrible experiences of people, friends, clients who have been told that you have to show proof that you paid the tax. You have paid the tax, you have bank documents, but you don't have the challan. You're in trouble. The government does not have to keep copies. You have to keep copies to prove that you paid. The government will keep saying, no, you didn't pay, right? So the burden is on you. So some of these tax paid challans, etc. Do you need it for 7 years? No. Right now everything is digitally available, but be sure that it is available digitally at least, right? Keep checking out their data, and after you have created the digital filing system, make sure that you run it past a good digital guy who knows how it is to be secured. Put passwords, right? Get for all the, even some small things that you buy, like your fridge or your air conditioner, you can get electronic bills. You don't need to have the physical bill. In case you have a physical bill, you can scan it. Right now almost all shops are willing to give you an electronic bill, especially if you buy it online. You anyway get it electronically. Even if you buy it physically, you call up somebody and said, "Mere ko ek AC chahiye," he or she will give you a digital copy. If they don't give you a digital copy and they give you a physical copy, just scan it. You don't need an AC and a fridge bill for the next 7 years and 10 years. Yes, keep it for 2-3 years. If there is a warranty, maybe keep a copy of the warranty card, but make sure that you know where it is. Physically, if your wife and you are comfortable keeping it in physical form, it's perfectly fine, but know where it is kept. You don't need it for claiming any GST or income tax returns. In case you need, you can always give them the number and it is for them to check up. That's not really so much of an issue. Very important that stop at source all the documents from coming physically. For example, I don't get any credit card bill physically. I don't get electricity bill physically. Though once in a while they do drop in, but I don't need it. My telephone bills don't come. Nothing comes physically. Once these things stop coming, your mutual fund statements come electronically, all your bills come electronically, then the number of documents reaching you itself goes down. Your contracts come digitally. So make sure that at the source itself you stop, and all such irrelevant papers stop coming to you. Once papers are less, it is easier to organize your life. So it is as simple as this. Make sure that your wife does not have to call up somebody like me and ask, I've got 3 box files, I don't know what to do. You have to take time off and file it and keep it in an organized way. Now, if you don't like paperwork, do lesser investments. I think it's as simple as that. If you have one index fund in which you have invested, or 2-3 funds in which you have invested, that will be all. Don't look at every new fund and say, "Arey, isme bhi dalna hai, usme bhi dalna hai." Then the number of documents increases, whether you hold it physically or digitally. Now, if you find that you have invested in some 17 mutual fund schemes and only 5 will do the work, just be happy to cull it, reduce the size of your portfolio, declutter your portfolio, right? Once you do all that, paperwork becomes simpler. Don't increase the paper and say, I've got no time for paperwork. If you don't like to do paperwork, hire somebody to do it. Perfectly all right. If you can get a chartered accountant to look after your accounts, costing you 2,000-3,000 rupees a month, it is absolutely worthwhile. Then that boy or girl will come to your house and make sure that things are digitally well organized and your return filing becomes simple. 5,000 rupees a month, still worth it, because it means you don't have to spend your time looking at things which you don't like to do. There are some people who love doing the paperwork, but if you're not in that category, hire somebody. You cannot avoid it. Thank you.